In this video, we're going to look at what's new in the version 2 firmware update for the DTX-PROX module and the DTX10 kits, and what you can expect when you update to them. To make life easier, the updating procedure is at the end of this video. First thing you will notice with the DTX version 2 update is all the new sounds and new kits. There are 30 new kits as well as all the original kits from version 1, and many of the new kits are made up of new samples which come with the firmware update. Yamaha has long been renowned for making some amazing acoustic drums, and some thought it strange that there weren't some iconic models in the original DTX-PROX module. So now we have them. We have recording custom kicks, toms and snares. We have PHX kicks and toms, and we have numerous other kicks, toms, snares, and many cymbals as well. So there really are many new sounds in the version 2 update. On the cymbal front, we have 10 new models of stacks and FX cymbals, but we also have something very new on the cymbal front. Now we have the option to have different EQs on each cymbal. So we can have different versions or flavors of all the original cymbals. On the version 1 firmware, there were very natural sounding cymbals, and some people didn't like this because it wasn't the same as what they had on their previous modules. Now on the DTX-PROX, the cymbals come in different forms. They come in their original natural style, but they also come with different EQ curves. As well as the original natural cymbal sound, the way it was recorded, we also have different versions. So we have a version which has less low end, it's a cleaner cymbal sound. We have a darker version, and we have a trashier version as well. That's version A, B, and C. So we can change the sound of our cymbals, not by changing the actual samples, but just by changing the EQ curves of the cymbals themselves. If that isn't exactly what you want, you can get in and you can tweak the EQ to exactly what you want for every single cymbal and every single drum. Some of the new kits allow you to adjust the amount of bleed on the kits. What this means is when on an acoustic kit you play, for example, the bass drum, the bottom heads of the toms and the snare vibrate in sympathy. So if you've got mics on the toms and you hit your bass drum, you can hear the bottom heads ring. We have this function now on the DTX-PROX with the version 2 update. And it means that I can adjust how much natural ring the whole kit gives just by changing the effect knob. This is very useful for making the kit sound less like separate samples and making it sound like one kit altogether. When you start to explore the module, you'll see that Yamaha has listened to the feedback and they've made the user interface much more easy to follow. Before, when you were stacking sounds or you were doing some effects, you had to use a lot of screens and there was a lot of backwards and forwards between different screens. But now it's much more simple. One feature of previous DTX kits was the hi-hat pitch up. What happens on an acoustic hi-hat when you press down very hard with your foot is the pressure builds up in the cymbals and the pitch actually bends upwards. This was a feature of older DTX kits, but it wasn't in the version 1. But now we have it in version 2. It just makes for a little bit more natural and realistic sounding hi-hats. This is something which is unique to the new DTX modules. When a new module is released and it sounds better than your existing module, the obvious thing to do is to buy one and then plug your existing pads into it. And then you can have the new sounds of the new module with your existing pads. But that doesn't always work because the old pads might not be fully compatible with the new pads. So what the DTXproX has is something called USB trigger link. And this allows you to take your existing module, if you have a DTX900 or a DTX700 module, and connect it to the DTXproX module just using a USB cable. So now you don't have to plug in your pads, which aren't always compatible. Like I said earlier, there's some of the DTX900 3-zone pads, DTX700 3-zone pads aren't compatible with the DTXproX. But if you keep your existing module, just connect it with a USB cable and then you can access everything from the new DTXproX module. To use the USB device link, get your DTX900 or DTX700 module and connect the to host port to the to device port on the back of the DTXproX. Then it's very, very simple how to turn this on. Go to Menu, Utility, Pad, and then go to Note Map, and it should say off, but if you press the plus button, you can turn that to ProX, or you can turn that to DTX900 or DTX700. So now you can play your DTXproX module from your DTX700 or DTX900 just by connecting it with a USB cable. Then connect to your headphones to the DTXproX module, and when you play your DTX700 or DTX900, you'll hear all the sounds from the DTXproX while you're hitting your DTX700 or DTX900. To update your DTXproX module, firstly, back up all your settings onto a USB drive. Then when you've done that, put the update onto another USB drive, which is completely empty. You only want the USB update on the USB drive. Then you take that drive and firstly, you turn off the module. When it's off, insert the USB drive in the back of the module. Then what you want to do is you want to press and hold the click button and then press the power on button. When the screen lights up, you can let go of the click button and it will show you what to do. So it says here, menu to install. You want to install the update, so you press the menu button. Then it shows you what it's going to load, and it says to execute it, press the menu button again. This will take a few minutes. When the update has finished, turn off the module, leave it for a couple of seconds, turn it back on, and the update is installed. Now you can just go to Menu, File, Load, and you can load back in all your settings from before. That's it, you have a fully updated module.